Now, in the United States, the Supreme Court is the ultimate authority. Yes, the President has the capacity to send people off to war, just like Swampy Joe here, but ultimately, the body that will decide whether laws that have been created by the Congress or potentially even executive orders that have been taken by a president can ultimately be affirmed or overruled by the Supreme Court. Now, it matters that it is an uneven number of judges because, in one way, there will always be a majority of 5 people who will outvote 4 people to either yay or nay an idea. So it really matters when somebody is thinking about changing the way that that body works. Now, there have been plenty of presidents who have thought about it. There have been very few that have tried to change those numbers. Because, of course, the only people who can pick people for the Supreme Court, for any one of those spaces, is a President of the United States. Which is why you might get 3 like Donald Trump did, you might get 1 like other presidents have had. But of course that then means that rather than the court reflecting the immediate politics of the day, there's a legacy that goes on far longer than any one politician. It's called checks and balances. Now, there have been those that have tried to change it in the past, like FDR, who wanted to add extra seats in order to make sure that, well, of course, his people would reaffirm his decisions and nothing would be overruled. At the time, there was a bloke in the United States Senate in 1983, even many years after FDR, thought that was a dumb idea. I wonder who that is.
But it was a bonehead idea. It was a terrible, terrible mistake to make, and it put in question, for an entire decade, the independence of the most significant body, including the Congress, in my view, the most significant body in this country, the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
Now, many years later, and 2 attempts at trying to become president, one that resulted in him being the vice president, it was time to run for president this time again, many years later. And in 2019, then candidate Joe Biden, well, he was pretty clear. He didn't want to go down the path of changing what he had previously said was the most important part of the system, the most important check and balance.
I would not get into court packing. We had 3 justices. Next time around, we lose control. They had 3 justices. We began to lose any credibility for the court has at all.
But lefties saw that Donald Trump was able to get 3 Supreme Court justices up, so therefore this thing was going to be too conservative for too long. So we should just pack in more people once we got the power to do so, right? So the bloke who had said for most of his professional life, this is a bad idea, well, he wouldn't say what his idea was going into the last election. Because if he had said up front that I plan to do what no one has done before to change this check and balance, he might have lost the election. So this was an acceptable answer from Joe Biden on his way to the presidency.
They'll know my opinion of court packing when the election is over. Now look, I know it's a great question, and I don't blame you for asking it. But you know, the moment I answer that question, the headline in every one of your papers will be about that.
And he was allowed to do that because he was the good guy to the devil that was Trump. Literally, he could say and do anything, and kind of did when he was doing anything. And that was always going to be the better option. Well, guess what's happening? In the next 24 hours, Democrat politicians will announce a law to increase the number of people on the Supreme Court. Not by 1, not by 2, but by 4. This would automatically swing it left, hard left, for the next 20 years or so. It's a giant temper tantrum because Donald Trump was able to put 3 people in. And by the way, these are 3 people who didn't let him review the election, who haven't held up some of the more controversial parts of his own legislation, so they're hardly Trump in robes times 3. Now, what is the media reaction to this decision to do something that you had said your entire professional life was a bad idea and that I won't tell you about before the election? Oh, well, it's happened plenty of times before, so this is a great idea. wait, watch, because this one is going to be very messy. Bronwyn, this is a big change for a country that places like Australia look to for leadership and look to for, well, not look to, but is often invoked as an example of where we should be culturally sometimes too. It's about to go hard left.
There are cases where courts here will pay attention to decisions that are taken by the United States Supreme Court. And this is really a very worrying concern. It'd be like stacking the High Court here. If you thought, oh, well, I don't know what the balance is, we might stack a few more people in.
And also, let's be clear here. While Australians automatically think this just means abortion, guns, it's so much more. It's everything.
It's everything.
Everything about the way the electoral system works, to you name it, right? This is about to be reorganised before our very eyes. Talk about that with Miranda Devine in a couple of minutes' time.